So, in lesson 1-6, we're talking about order of operations. Now, you've been doing order of operations for a while now. There's only one little thing that's a little different with algebra. You still have your Pemdas. Okay, if you like to use Pemdas, you can still use it. And you know Pemdas stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting. So you still have that. But with the exponent also comes the square roots. So when you look for exponents, also look for square roots. Also, other types of parentheses. Now instead of parentheses, we have things like brackets. Those are brackets. And then we have braces, which go like this. These are just different grouping symbols that we also use in order of operations. When you have these, you're going to go from the inside out. Okay, so whatever's on the inside of these brackets, you work your way inside and then you work your way back out of the brackets, and then you can drop the brackets. So if we were to look at a couple examples, let's start with something a little easier before we get into all the brackets. What if we had something like 15 take away 2 times 3 plus 1? So obviously we're looking at our PEMDAS. We're going to have subtraction, multiplication, or addition first. Well, we're going to multiply first. So we're going to do these two first. What is 2 times 3? Well, it's 6. Okay, bring down the 15 and the subtraction symbol since you didn't do anything with that, as well as bring down the plus 1. So now we have subtraction and addition. It doesn't matter which one you do first in the sense of PEMDAS, but you do have to go from left to right. So that part does matter. Okay, students always think, oh, PEMDAS, addition comes before subtraction. No, that's just the way it's written. We still always go from left to right. So whoever came left to right first is what you do first. So in this case, we're going to do 15 take away 6. 15 take away 6 is 9. And then we add that plus 1, and our final answer is 10. All right, let's try one a little differently. What if we had some division in there? So we have 8 divided by 1/2 times 3. Now again, this is where a lot of kids think, oh, PEMDAS, I'm going to have to do the multiplication first because multiplication came before the D. No, we still go from left to right. So the division came first on this one. So you're actually going to do 8 divided by 1/2. Well, if you remember, we have to take the reciprocal. So I'm going to go ahead and put this over 1 just so it looks like a fraction. You keep the first fraction, change the sign, and flip the second fraction. So we wind up getting 16 over 1, which is just 16. So now I have to incorporate that times 3. So I'm going to come over here and do 16 times 3, which will give me 48. Okay? All right, let's try another one. This one has an exponent in it. So we have 5.4 minus 3 squared plus 6.2. All right, so we don't have any grouping symbols, but we do have an exponent. So let's go ahead and do that first. So we have 3 squared, which we know means 3 times 3, okay, is 9. So now bring down everything that you did not deal with. Okay, so going from left to right, I'm going to subtract first. Well, this one doesn't have a decimal, but I can put one here at the back. So now I have 5.4 minus 9.0. Well, obviously the answer is going to be negative, but I'm going to go ahead and put the 9 on top just to make my subtraction a little easier to do, but knowing that my answer is going to be negative because 9 is larger than 5.4. Okay, we borrow. This becomes an 8. This becomes 10. 10 take away 4 is 6. Bring down your decimal. 8 take away 5 is 3. Okay, so my answer for this section is negative 3.6. Now I'm going to add it to the 6.2. Okay, who do you have more of? Do I have more negatives or do I have more positives? Well, I have more positives. So I know my answer is going to be positive, so I'm going to subtract these two, and when I subtract them, I get 2.6. Okay, here we go. Let's try one with those brackets. So something you can see with the brackets. We have negative 20 divided by bracket, negative 2, parenthesis, 4 plus 1, parenthesis, bracket. Okay, so this is what I mean by working yourself inside out. You do the inside of the brackets first, which is a set of parentheses. We're going to definitely do that first. So bring down your brackets. 4 plus 1 is 5. All right, and bring down your negative 2. Now, obviously, you can see that the 2 is being multiplied to the 5. So in my brackets, 2 times 5 is 10. A negative and a positive equal a negative, and bring down my other bracket. Now at this point, I can bring down everything else. All right. Well, now we can actually get rid of the brackets because there's really nothing going on in there besides just showing that there's a negative 10. So I can drop the brackets just to make this look a little easier on the eyes. All right. A negative and a negative equal a positive, and 10 goes into 20 2 times. So your final answer is 2. All right, then you have some problems with substitution. So let's try this one substitution problem where we have an exponent and we're telling us that x equals negative 2. All right, so let's do the exponent first. We get 4 times 4 is 16. Parenthesis. Now let's substitute. Instead of x, I'm going to put negative 2 plus 3. Okay. Now, what do I have more of? I have 2 negatives, but I have 3 positives. So I have more positives. So my answer is going to be positive. But I'm going to subtract because they are opposite signs. So 3 take away 2 is going to give me 1 times 16. 16 times 1 is 16. All right, well, hopefully this helps you with your homework.